Hello chess friends, in this video I want to share with you a game between the Fabiano Caruana and Levon Aronian, which was played in the London Chess Classic tournament in 2018. The game starts with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop to b5, knight f6, which is a Berlin line, so d3, bishop to c5, c3, d5, e takes d5, queen takes d5, queen in the center. Looks very good, but when the bishop attacks the queen, queen retreat on the d6 square. Knight bd2, castle b4 attacks the bishop, bishop retreat, and Caruana play a4 to threat to play a5 and attack the bishop here, which is imprisoned after that. But Aronian just ignored that. He played bishop to f5, and now Caruana continued with the move bishop to a3. Instead of that, if you try a5 and attacks the bishop, so bishop can be sacrificed on f2 square. When the king takes that sacrifice on f2, bishop takes d3 and trading on d3 square. So he could try with the b5 move to attack the knight, and there is no good square for a knight. So if the queen takes, and then rook e1, and white is able to make a unnatural castle with the king g1, king h1, if that looks safe for that king. So instead of that, after b5, queen can take on c3, attacks the rook. So when he takes on b6, queen takes on a1, and then c takes b7, rook a b8, and it looks that black is slightly better here. So let's see, after bishop to a3, which was played in the game, e4 comes. e4, black wants to open the center because this king doesn't look so safe on e1 square. So d takes, and knight takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop takes, and trading queens. So, and after that, white decided to make a long castle, leaving the pawn on f2 square undefended. So rook ac8, he wants to make more pressure on the c file because there are some discovering moves. So bishop to d5, and bishop takes, rook takes, knight e5, open the c file for the rook from c8, and also try to trade the knights. So knight takes, d takes, and white is able to take on e5, but it doesn't look like a good option because if he takes, then rook takes here with the check, so king b2, and bishop d4 looks very powerful for black because he attacks the rook and also threat to give some discovering check, which is not so good for a white king on a b2. You're gonna do rook moves, for example, then first bishop to f6, move the bishop on a safe place. If king moves, then it's check, so the king goes up. It's very tricky because there's a rook fc8 threat to give a mate here with the rooks, but if the king goes back on b1, and the rook takes f2 and black is a pawn up. Let's see, instead of that, so white goes with the king to b2, and then bishop takes f2. So rook takes e5, and we can see that here white is playing with the majority with 3 pawns on the queen side, and black's playing with the pawn majority on the king side. So bishop to h4, rook to d1, bishop f6, very good diagonal for black bishop because he's attacking rook and also attack the pawn on c2, c3, and rook to e3, rook c7, b5, and rook fc8, bishop to b4, defend, very good, and h5, king goes up, b6, lock that, so rook dd3. It's a good idea for white to make a very good defense on c3 pawn because he needs to push it at one moment on c4, and he needs to start attack with that pawn. But first of all, this pawn on c3 square need to be safe, and after that he can go with the idea rook to e4, and after that push c4. So g6 was played, and rook e4, bishop goes back to g7, and rook d3, f5, and because white is very well attacked on the c2 square, so he needs to reduce that attack power from black. So he trade one pair of the rooks on the square e8. After that, king f7. Of course, he wants to centralize the king instead of king h8. This one looks much better. So rook a8 and g5, c4, bishop to e5, h3, of course, save the pawn, and g4, a5, trying to trade some pawns here. So f4. That looks like a good option, so I have to stop here. H takes the g4, h takes g4, and rook f8 check. So he wants to make pressure on f pawn and f4, so king e6 and bishop to d2. So it's clear that white wants to take the pawn on f4, and black goes with f3, sacrificing that pawn, g takes, and g3, pass, of course. So, and a takes b6, a takes b6, bishop to e3, and rook d7, rook e8 check, king f5, bishop takes on b6, and now with the two connected pawns, it's very easy, just push them. But rook d3 gives a check, king goes up, rook takes the pawn on f3, rook f8 check. That's a good moment for trading the rooks. Rook e4, trade rooks, and after that move the bishop to g1, because white need to move bishop somewhere. He wants to push b pawn, and after king g2, bishop c5, king f3, b6, and king e4. So instead of that, he could try also to push the pawn on g2, and after that b7. So it's clear that the idea for white is to promote the queen here, but he's very close to do that. After b6, king e4, and b7 was played. So g2, king to b5, because these pawns need a little support from the king. Bishop to f4, bishop to g1 was played, and bishop g3, king c6, bishop to e5, and after king d7, it's clear that white is winning, so black decided to resign because he cannot stop promoting the queens, and white can continue with the king c8 and promote, or he can play c5, c6, c7 and promote to c8. So after that, black resigned. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next video. Bye bye.